I don't know. I mean, I've been trying to figure out this play for for Trump. How do you play this? Okay, you've got this woman who clearly knows a lot, right? And I'm going on strike. I will not explain anything until I see the Epstein files.
Well, okay, so there's a lot to talk about with Epstein, and I guess I'd like to start with Ghislaine Maxwell.
How do you make it stick, though, right? Let's say you're I don't know, president of the United States, speaking hypothetically.
Sure.
And you have this pardon power, and you give her a pardon.
What happens when the master of insults finally meets his match? George Conway calmly dismantled Trump's billionaire brand on live TV, leaving Trump scrambling for insults that only made him look worse. But why did this quiet takedown have such a lasting impact?
Well, I just wanted to add to John's introduction. George has been on all the networks. He's been on most important shows. But I think most impressive was his appearance on Have I Got News for You? He was
Somebody with this kind of psychopathology could do with another term in office, and everyone decided they wanted to learn the hard way. And here we are. I mean, you're right. I should have like a tech support T-shirt, right?
You're disrespecting the show, and you're disrespecting Harry, and I can't tolerate that.
Stay tuned to uncover the meltdown that left Donnie Diapers shaken. Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So, did you click the subscribe button? Great, thank you so much. Now, back to the video.
This whole thing can make all the stuff about the files go away. Because if they do go, and as you say, make accusations against Democrats who may or may not have been on the list, how do you make it stick so that she doesn't change her story henceforth when some piece of paper comes out that says that, something that's contrary to what she might say about the President of the United States?
Donald Trump loves chaos. For years, his strategy has been simple. Talk louder, talk bigger, and throw out insults until no one can follow the conversation anymore. Whether he's attacking a political rival or dodging a tough question, his playbook rarely changes. Call someone low energy, make up a nickname, and move on to rambling about how great his ratings are. It works because noise drowns out substance. When you dominate the room, who cares about facts? But George Conway proved there's one thing louder than Trump on live TV: reality. Conway didn't meet Trump's chatter with more chatter. He approached him like a bad report card on Parents' Night, and the results were brutal. Conway started by tearing apart Trump's carefully polished billionaire image, calmly listing his business disasters. Trump Airlines bankrupt in 3 years. Atlantic City casinos gone. Trump University sued into oblivion, and Conway didn't even blink. He just rattled off fact after fact while Trump sat there blinking like a malfunctioning animatronic.
People like Eric Fromm described decades ago, how much of that is just sort of based upon, or how much of it results in this desire to destroy everything around them?
Trump.
Yeah, and I mean, that's the whole thing. I think one thing got to go back to talk about this would be how much of a part of the malignant narcissistic personality.
Yes.
And that, to me, that's the thing that I keep thinking about the most, is that people find it hard to believe all of the things he is doing, because
you could almost hear the gears grinding in Trump's head. Now, why did this land so hard? Because calm criticism is kryptonite to someone like Trump. A guy who thrives on insults and inflammatory reactions has no clue what to do when things stay icy and factual. Studies show that people are wired to respond differently to calm, logical arguments compared to aggressive confrontation. Aggression triggers defensiveness. But calm facts? They just hang in the air. Impossible to dodge, no matter how much noise you make. And Conway's facts hit like a ton of bricks because they cut to the core of Trump's identity, that self-made billionaire image he's been selling for decades. What's hilarious is Trump's response. He didn't address Conway's comments. Instead, he came out swinging with insults. "Stone cold loser," Trump shouted, recycling what sounds like an insult he's used half a dozen times before. But instead of shutting Conway down, the insult only highlighted Trump's panic. It gave the impression of a kid yelling at the teacher after being caught cheating on the test. And here's the irony. It wasn't the insult that stuck. It was the fact that for once, Trump didn't have a comeback that could overshadow the truth. When George Conway calmly dissected Trump's record on live TV, the reaction was exactly what you'd expect from someone who thrives on dominance and can't handle being challenged. Trump didn't even try to respond to the facts. Instead, he fell back on his greatest hits: petty insults, name-calling, and a complete inability to address Conway's points. He called Conway a stone-cold loser, apparently forgetting that this wasn't a schoolyard fight in the 80s. Oh, and let's not forget Moonface, a bizarre addition to Trump's rich history of playground-level attacks. But the more he barked, the more obvious it became. He wasn't winning the fight. He was throwing a tantrum. It wasn't just the insults, though. The meltdown exposed an uncomfortable truth about Trump's brand. For someone who markets himself as tough, in control, and always winning, he looked more like a bad loser scrambling to save face. Conway barely even raised his voice. He let the facts do the work. Meanwhile, Trump was left boiling, hurling insults that landed like soggy French fries. The contrast between Conway's calm dismantling and Trump's rage-fueled response wasn't just striking, it was damaging. Trump's anger didn't dominate the room like it usually does, it just made him look rattled. The public reaction was brutal. Social media lit up with comments calling Trump unhinged and laughing at how easily Conway got under his skin. Headlines described the moment as a childish meltdown, not the kind of thing a self-proclaimed stable genius wants tied to his name. Political analysts pointed out how vulnerable he seemed, something Trump absolutely can't afford if his brand is built on the idea that he's the ultimate strongman. And then there's Melania's eerie silence. She's stayed out of the spotlight during some of Trump's biggest scandals, and her absence here spoke volumes. Michael Wolff even wrote that she straight up hates him. And honestly, can you blame her? It's hard to picture her jumping to defend him after this. Funny thing is, the louder Trump cried, the harder it was to miss how fragile his image had become. Truth apparently doesn't need a megaphone. George Conway's quiet takedown revealed something crucial. Sometimes facts speak louder than chaos. Trump built his image on being untouchable, the loudest guy in the room, but Conway's calm approach shredded that illusion. By simply pointing out Trump's failed businesses and lawsuits, Conway forced the public to see the cracks hiding beneath the bluster. And here's the kicker. Trump's panic only made those cracks bigger. This isn't just about Trump. It's a reminder that truth can cut through noise, whether in politics or everyday life. So ask yourself, if someone like Trump can be shaken by facts, what does that say about his future?